rain.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
And what an appropriate topic for today. I'm Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt.
And I'm First Alert Meteorologist Tania Michelle.
Tania, a lot of rain out there today. The system has really filled in. We've got a lot going on tonight on top of it.
Yes, so I'm hoping that everyone is out and about tonight with their rain jackets. Like you mentioned, those ponchos, those umbrellas, you're going to need it because the rain is definitely coming down. Yeah,
big concert happening in Tuscaloosa too, and a lot of folks even traveling in. Someone told me on Facebook, said, Wes, we got a lot of folks coming from out of town to see this show. So it's going to be rainy out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, at least it's not hot though. So that's the good side to the rain that we're having today.
Certainly is. Yeah, the clouds are going to keep those temperatures down. Let's talk about the next big thing and what's happening out there. You look at all this moisture lifting in, and if you stepped outside, when you first stepped out today, you probably were like, wow, this air is thick out there. I mean, it was so humid today, tropical feeling. All of this lifting in from the south around a storm system that's back to the west of us. You can see the leading edge of the rain now starting to fill in areas to the north. Again, keep in mind, it is Friday night in Alabama. We got football games happening all over the place in this wet weather tonight. East Alabama around Anniston, that rain lifting in from the south. But you can see how this is wrapping into a cold core upper level low that's back in here to the west of us. This is a upper level disturbance, and you can see how it's wrapping the moisture in, not only from the northern Gulf, but this starts out further south down into the south and central Gulf of Mexico. A lot of moisture, a direct conveyor belt straight out of the tropics, and that's going to keep this rain going. Even if the steady rain stops where you live, there's still going to be some sprinkles, some drizzle, and it's just going to stay unsettled through the overnight hours, and certainly mostly cloudy. You can see there we are covered up on First Alert AccuTrack. All of this rain reaching the ground. There's a lightning strike, you see that, around Talladega. So these situations are going to cause some delays for some of these high school games out there tonight. Make sure you're keeping a close watch on lightning detection, because there are going to be some embedded cells where we could have a threat of cloud to ground lightning. So stay weather alert for that through tonight and into the overnight hours. But a lot of rain over Fayette and Walker County right now. This is lifting in again towards Marion and Winston County. You can see the leading edge there moving in towards Hayden, and some showers back into East Alabama. This will also start to fill in. So next big thing that we're talking about, we got the rainy weather tonight, some morning showers tomorrow, but we will trend drier during the afternoon. So giving you that first alert. Let's check out the forecast here for this evening, and higher rain chances. You can see the temperatures really won't change much, but just kind of a tropical feeling night out there, Tania, and it looks as though as we move ahead, we're going to be seeing some improvements there for the rest of the weekend, which we'll show you coming up in First Alert Weather.
Yeah, Wes, and I also wanted to give you all some information on what's happening in Florida. New images show more of the devastation brought to Florida. In Steinhatch, homes are destroyed from the impact, and on the island of Cedar Key from tropical or former Hurricane Idalia. Residents say they have power but no running water. CNN's Carlos Cerez saw the damage firsthand and has the latest.
Broken tree branches, toppled fences, pieces of wood, and other debris scattered everywhere. Heather Greenwood is cleaning up around the Cedar Key bed and breakfast she helps manage. Grateful the business and her nearby home are still standing after Idalia.
Look at what is positive about it all. I mean, our house is still standing, some are not, but nobody lost their life. All of our cats were still here.
Greenwood, who spoke to Outfront just before Idalia hit.
I'm going to make sure that I'm around to be able to help out the people that did stay.
Now says she feels blessed as she helps her community recover and rebuild.
It's on one of the highest points on the island. The storm surge would have had to been above 15 feet.
Cedar Key officially saw a storm surge of nearly 9 feet. And with many homes and businesses destroyed, not everyone in the area is as upbeat as Greenwood.
Very devastating and sad. It's very sad. Heartbreaking. We're just going to pull together and come together.
Idalia left a path of destruction in Georgia and South and North Carolina, but Florida suffered the worst of the storm, including Tampa Bay, Clearwater Beach, and St. Petersburg, which also experienced record storm surges. Cities like Crystal River saw entire areas flooded. These satellite images showing the before and after.
People losing homes, losing businesses, really a lot of work that needs to be done.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis toured more damaged areas today, promising funding help for all 25 counties that fell under the hurricane warning. President Joe Biden formally declared Florida as a major disaster area.
I know it's going to be a lot of work, but we will get everyone back on their feet.
A hopeful message for people who lost everything during the storm, including these homeowners in Horseshoe Beach, which sits squarely in the middle of the Big Bend area.
My dad always said if we ever had a direct hit right off the Gulf that it would not last.
It's very painful. I tell my daughter, I can't hardly even talk about it. I love that old house right there, like a family member.
Oh, and once again, that was Carlos Suarez reporting there out of Florida. But President Joe Biden will travel to Florida tomorrow to tour the devastation. Take a look at this video here. Business owners are also seeing the effects from the storm. Some buildings in Florida and Georgia have watermarks about 6 feet high from the storm surge. Piles of debris from destroyed homes crowded some neighborhood streets. Florida officials said there was one hurricane-related death in the Gainesville area. Meanwhile, President Biden is asking Congress for $4 billion more to replenish the Federal Emergency Management Agency's disaster relief fund. One Florida county also saw extreme impacts. Take a look at this before and after footage of Suwannee, Florida. These photos were taken Wednesday after Idalia made impact with debris filling the marinas and inlets. Governor Ron DeSantis making a statement that the state will be applying for whatever federal money is available to assist with the cleanup efforts of the affected areas. Wes.
All right, Tania, across the world as the remnants of post-tropical cyclone Idalia continue to weaken in the Atlantic, Hong Kong is bracing for impacts from Typhoon Saola. It could potentially be the region's strongest storm in nearly 5 years. So we've seen some powerful storms in that region. The storm was downgraded to a typhoon, but still remained in equivalence to a Category 4 hurricane, with winds reaching 140 miles per hour. And by the time it reaches land, it will be the equivalent to a Category 2 hurricane. The Hong Kong Observatory issuing a T10 storm warning, which is the highest storm warning alert level. They also warn that even though the storm will be 25 miles south of the city, it will still bring heavy showers, violent winds, and storm surges. It will be the closest to the city by tonight and into Saturday morning. Still ahead on First Alert Weather Extra, NASA's newest lunar discovery and its potential cause.
And also taking a look at those headlines. Coming up, we'll be talking about that kickoff forecast, all the games happening this weekend, more storms happening around the United States. And don't go anywhere, because today is another segment of Mets Around the World. Stay with us. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Good Day, Alabama.
A new morning comes with preparing right, because while you slept, news broke.
We have new information from that breaking news that happened this morning.
While you head out, the storm we gave you the first alert for is on its way in. And as the key turns the ignition, your shorter route to work is being found.
Avoid 459 southbound completely because of a crash.
A new morning means everything you need for a good day is on Good Day, Alabama, always on your side.
The First Alert traffic you need to get you there safe and on time. Tomorrow morning, everything you need for a good day is on Good Day, Alabama.
You're late, out the door, and on the go. Don't worry.
Good Day, Alabama continues all morning long.
And wherever you watch, this is what you need to know right now.
More reporters on the streets with more hours of news when you need it. Everything you need for a good day is on Good Day, Alabama. knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Well, across the country, Arizona dealing with a different type of storm. Check out this footage of a dust storm entering Phoenix. This comes after the area experienced severe thunderstorms Thursday evening, which also prompted flash flood warnings, frequent lightning and gusty winds. Dust storms occur when the strong, turbulent winds carry the clouds of dust and particulates, soil and sand over a large area. And in Phoenix, winds moving at 47 miles per hour with gusts up to 71 miles per hour were recorded at Sky Harbor Airport.
And Wes, get this, on the East Coast, some parts of California are still recovering on the West Coast, some parts of California are still recovering from the effects of Tropical Storm Hillary. One of them being Death Valley National Park, who remains closed. Abel Garcia explores how the storm has reshaped this popular tourist spot.
How bad was it? It was historic. We had 2.2 inches of rain in a 24-hour period.
National Park Service Ranger Matthew Lamar took us on a tour of Death Valley, showing me the destruction up close.
That is a year's worth of rain in one day.
From erosion to damaged roads to debris still being removed, the park, which gets around 1 million visitors each year, had its rainiest day ever on Sunday, August 20th. Lamar says the historic flooding led to severe damage.
How significant is that for you to see? It really shows you the power of water. It comes down, it cuts along the bank, cuts away that shoulder, and then eventually it can start cutting into the pavement.
You can see some of the significant amount of damage right here on State Route 190, which is one of the main roads that goes through this national park. We also spoke with Christopher Andreessen with Caltrans, who says it's going to take him about 3 months to repair what happened here on State Route 190.
So right now your priority is just getting these roads back open as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Caltrans' goal is to restore working order to State Route 190 as quickly as we can.
Andreessen tells me 2 emergency contracts have been approved to repair the roads. He says the cost will be more than $6 million of California's dollars. At one point during the storm, Andreessen says around 400 people, including visitors and park employees, were trapped and had a shelter in place. He says Caltrans helped make a temporary road to get them out.
It's fairly significant damage in comparison to recent storms.
Lamar says 2 inches of rain in a place like Florida is a lot different than this much rain in the driest place in North America.
We don't have these soils, we don't have this vegetation to absorb all that moisture.
All right, in West Virginia, after flash flooding went through Kuna County, officials have released flood damage reports. According to the county's data just released, of the 103 surveys sent in, 15 homes sustained major damage and 33 sustained minor damage. 7 homes have been ruled inaccessible. So far, the Kuna County data only relates to homes and the extent of destroyed bridges. Hope I'm saying that right. Roads, railroad tracks, utilities are still being calculated by the DOH. And the Kuna County Commission says 28 homes were affected.
Las Vegas also seeing some flash flooding after severe weather is expected to move into the area over the weekend. The National Weather Service issuing a flood watch for the Las Vegas Valley until tomorrow evening. An area of low pressure is pulling monsoon season moisture into the Las Vegas region through Sunday, which means residents can expect to see scattered thunderstorms all weekend. More than 1,500 customers were without power as of Friday morning. And last week on Mets Around the World, we introduced you to Chief Meteorologist Isaac Williams at WCBI in Columbus, Mississippi. Well, this week, he's back to share his storm chasing experience. So you like to forecast tornadoes. Have you ever storm chased?
This is love this question. So before I started teaching on campus at Mississippi State, which was 2 years ago, I had not storm chased before. But they asked me to go on the storm chase with them, like the storm chase class that they do in the spring. I'm like, yeah, of course, duh. I said, but do you really want somebody responsible for student safety that's never storm chased before? It's like, but Dr. Barrett Gutter, he's done it for like 10, 12 years. And obviously I can read a radar. So anyway, I'm like, yes, this is fantastic. The TV station signed off on it. So I got to go out on the plains this past year and the year before storm chasing. But before that, I always give me the green screen. I want to be in the studio. But having storm chase it now is field course, the bug has bitten me, admittedly, and I want to go back. So.
Oh, that is really awesome. I'm so glad you shared that experience with us. So were you guys able to be close to a physical storm?
Yeah, so we had the first year was, let me just preface by saying we want to see a tornado in an open field, not doing anything so we can teach the children. Unfortunately, the first time we saw Gaylord's EF3 tornado up in Michigan, of all places. They're like, where'd you go? Kansas, Oklahoma? I'm like, no, how about Michigan? So obviously that was, a sad day. Now this last one was kind of more of what we wanted. So this last year we saw 3 tornadoes. All of them were in open fields and did no damage. So that was the best part about it, was that we were at a reasonable distance away and could show the students what was happening based on the cloud structure and also the radar as well.
Oh my gosh, love talking with Isaac. He also says he loves being a meteorologist because every day is different. I can agree. As the weather is always changing, he enjoys keeping up with what the atmosphere is doing. And next week on Mets Around the World on Friday, we'll meet with a new guest, another meteorologist. So you're going to have to tune in to find out who the special guest will be. Well, when we return, Wes will bring you your forecast for the upcoming week, and I'll tell you what to expect for the first weekend of college football. But before we head to break, take a look at today's almanac.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
Need to be in your tornado-safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra 7-day forecast, and we're going to start the weekend. Well, it's raining right now. We're going to have some rain around tomorrow morning, but by the afternoon, trending much drier. You can see sunshine on Sunday, 86 degrees. Labor Day sunny weather, highs in the 80s. The thing about next week, you can see the temperatures swing back above the average high of 89 degrees, but it's going to be more of a dry heat. It looks like some drier air, lower dew points there by the middle of the week. Overnight lows in the 60s. I was seeing a front that tries to drop south by next Friday and Saturday, but the global data is not quite bringing the wet weather in here just yet. But don't be surprised. You check in with Tania over the weekend. There could be a couple of scattered areas of rain that's back in that forecast, perhaps just beyond the 7-day. Don't be surprised if you see some rain chances show up, just giving you the first alert. But next week, at least through the end of the work week, looks dry at this point. And of course, after tomorrow morning, we got a nice little stretch here for the rest of Labor Day weekend. But starting off quite soggy out there for tonight. Here's a live look from Tuscaloosa. There's a concert happening in Tuscaloosa this evening. There's going to be some showers around 76 degrees. Feels like in the 70s. And of course, we got the high school football. A lot of folks rolling into T-Town for the kickoff of Alabama football tomorrow evening. Birmingham in the 70s, and we have showers that have now arrived from Bessemer to Birmingham. Irondale points north towards Pinson, seeing some rain. Anniston still showing mostly cloudy, but those showers, they're building our way, seeing some rain just south of Talladega. In fact, there was an isolated storm to our south, so we do need to stay alert. You see right there, seeing one lightning strike. So there have been a couple of embedded cells, but what a coverage of rain that we have out there. And first off, going into this evening, all these football fields are going to be soggy for high school football. So it's going to be getting muddy out there on the football field tonight with those temperatures staying into the 70s. But this will thin out later on tonight and into the early morning. All this rain that's wrapping in. There's an upper low back to the west that's pulling all this tropical moisture northward. But as we get into Saturday, notice the clouds are still with us. We'll start out with some scattered showers in the morning, possibly a thunderstorm early in the day. So the greatest chance of rain tomorrow is for the first part of the day. But even as we get to lunchtime, cloudy. You can see there's still a couple of showers showing up, even across East Alabama, but this will all thin out as that disturbance continues to kind of fill in and move back to the west of us. In fact, we'll probably see some sunshine breaking through the clouds by the afternoon, especially for Birmingham and points to the east. So heading over to Tuscaloosa, I'd certainly plan for that possibility, but Tania is about to talk a little bit more about those kickoff forecasts here in a few moments. Tropical update. I want to show you what's happening here because we have not just one, not just two, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now a potential 6th system out here in the Atlantic. The tropics are very active at this time. But the thing is, with all of those tropical systems, let me go back here to go back to our map, and I'll show you as we go to the tropics. With all of these, they are all moving to the north. So they're not expected to move into the Gulf of Mexico. Idalia's post-tropical system, it's going to move north. Hurricane Fran is going to move into the cooler waters and weaken in Gert. That system's back. It dissipated. Now it's a tropical storm again. That is going to move to the north. And even this system, which has a medium chance of development, you can see a very strong easterly wave emerging off the coast of Africa. I was looking at some of the ensemble data, and it looks like that may start to turn also as we look at the next 7 to 10 days. So in the long range right now, I'm not really concerned. We'll have to watch, though, if we get any type of disturbance, whether it's in the Gulf of Mexico. And this time of the year, we have to watch it. Things can evolve very quickly. But right now, it looks dry as we go beyond Sunday. Again, those temperatures in the 90s, but more of a dry heat around the middle of next week. But a lot of rain out there tonight. I know we're getting set for some college football, kick off the college football Saturday season tomorrow as we head over to meteorologist Tania Michelle with an update on those kickoff forecast conditions.
Yeah, and Wes, you know what tonight is? Sideline.
Wow. Yeah, hey, there you go. Hey, you have really picked it up there. Way to go. I don't know if I can top that, Tania. Wow. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about these football forecasts, right? Let's talk about these football forecasts as we head into the weekend, and of course, more updates on your Labor Day weekend forecast as well. So a lot going on. Starting tomorrow, East Tennessee is going to take on Jacksonville State University. That's at 1 p.m. There will be some rain chances there in the forecast, about a 20% chance. Just at 1 p.m. temperatures are going to be in the mid 80s, so pretty comfortable. But as we continue, another game going on, Alabama A&M taking on Vanderbilt. That's at 6 p.m. in Nashville, Tennessee. Temperatures in the mid 80s, mostly sunny skies, looking nice and dry for you out there. Fort Valley State in Montgomery, Alabama. You're going to be taking on Tuskegee, upper 80s. It's going to be pretty hot, so bring your water and maybe a cool towel as you're sitting out in that sunshine. But I did want to mention that this is in Jacksonville, Alabama, where East Tennessee is going to take on Jacksonville State. So much fun. The forecast is going to hold up for most of us. Some some of us will see some of those showers. Auburn, you're looking really good for tomorrow. 2:30 p.m. kickoff. Auburn takes on University of Massachusetts. Kickoff once again at 2:30, starting with temperatures in the lower 80s. Mostly cloudy skies. We'll see some decrease in cloud coverage throughout your Saturday evening out there. And this is in Auburn, Alabama, just at halftime. Temperatures still hanging in the lower 80s, and then we'll be in the mid 70s out in Auburn just around the end of that game. So let's keep moving forward because more games to talk about. Alabama football forecast for those of you hanging out in Tuscaloosa tonight. You're getting the rain, but tomorrow won't be too bad. You'll see some of those leftover showers and maybe a few storms by the kickoff time, 6:30. And then as you continue, we're going to see drier conditions and a lot more improvements by the end of the game. Less clouds, partly cloudy conditions, and drier conditions for the evening for your Saturday tomorrow down in Tuscaloosa. But here we are with another game, really 3 games to show you. Just a quick recap. Tonight's sideline, you're going to expect those showers if you're already out and about at the games, any of those high school football games. I hope you brought your rain jacket and your umbrellas. Tomorrow, once again, Auburn, and then you have Tuscaloosa. We're going to hold on to some mostly cloudy conditions for the start of both of those games with temperatures mainly in the 80s. But that's a look at our football forecast. Coming up on First Alert Weather Extra, we have more to talk about. Matter of fact, I believe there's a story. Let's get to it. So we've been talking about all this wet weather, and as for our area, we saw showers today, especially here across the summer, and we can always see pop-ups throughout this time. But did you know there's a word for the scent of summer rain? Dan Smith explores why Earth smells so fresh after a good rinse cycle. Hey, you might be able to smell that later on this evening. In this week's Moment of Science, he talks about that scent that you smell after the rain goes away.
Water is the lifeblood of nature, and there's something that just clicks in your brain when you smell fresh fallen rain in the summertime. This week we're exploring the how and why behind one of the season's most common outdoor scents, besides burning burgers on the barbecue. Plants produce a bunch of different chemicals and compounds, and during a dry spell, those accumulate in rocks and soil. A special class of bacteria called actinomycetes really like those compounds and have actually been used to create some commercial antibiotics. Those bacteria also produce a molecule called geosmin, and when raindrops hit the soil, that scent is released into the atmosphere. The human nose is remarkable, and we'll get to that in a later episode, but you can actually detect that geosmin scent at as low a concentration as 5 parts per trillion. For reference, a shark can only start smelling blood in the water at about 1 part per million. By the way, geosmin is also what gives beets their earthy flavor and helps camels find sources of water in hot desert oases. In 1964, Australian researchers coined the term for this rainy, earthy scent, petrichor, from the ancient Greek petra, meaning rock, and ichor, blood of the gods. That telltale scent might as well be from the gods after a dry spell, but it may not come from the rain alone. Lightning is so powerful that it splits oxygen and nitrogen molecules in the atmosphere, which then forms nitric oxide and ozone. It's possible that a part of that smell is ozone wafting downwind or being carried out by raindrops from the storm. There's also another thing called volatile plant oils that are really just fatty acids released by the soil, though the main culprit is still believed to be that geosmin. Something to think about when you take in a relaxing rain shower on a summer's day. Or not so relaxing. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.
Very interesting there, but check this out. NASA has spotted a new crater on the moon, which they say was likely created when Russia's latest moon mission crashed into its surface. The Lunar 25 spacecraft, which was uncrewed, launched on August 10th and was expected to land a few weeks after the launch. It was the country's first lunar landing in 47 years. In these images shared by NASA, you can see new crater compared to what the moon looked like in June 2022. Russian space agencies Roscosmos said in a statement that engine failure was the likely cause of the crash. Well, I hope you've enjoyed us this week on First Alert Weather Extra. You can catch us again starting next Monday at 6:30 p.m. But don't forget to get updates on your forecast, especially if you have some outdoor plans this weekend on First at 9. We'll see you next Monday right here on First Alert Weather Extra. Have a wonderful and safe, happy Friday evening and Labor Day weekend.